Beautiful Feet, Beautiful Mission, Florida Georgia District LWML 60 Years Commemorative Celebration. Welcome to the 31st Biennial Convention of the Florida Georgia District LWML, held at the Orlando Airport Marriott Hotel, September 26 through 28, 2008. How beautiful on the mountains are the feet of those who bring good news, who proclaim peace, who bring good tidings, who proclaim salvation, who say to Zion, your God reigns. Isaiah 52:7. Each time we speak the LWML pledge, we pledge to Him our willing service wherever and whenever He has need of us. As we look at the logo, it starts at the cross to remind us of the redeeming gifts Christ bestowed upon us on that cross. With His Word as our encouragement and in gratitude for His dying love, we consecrate to our Savior our hands to work for Him, our feet to go on His errands, to the great task of bringing the lost and the erring into eternal fellowship with Him. That is our mission. God is working through each of us as members of the LWML to use our gifts as a joyful witness. Each of us have beautiful feet when we overcome the mountains of this world and dedicate our lives as a colorful reflection of the light of Christ's love as we proclaim to all that our God reigns. Friday afternoon there were servant events including decorating flip-flops for Lutheran Services Florida, shown here, making picture scrapbooks for Bethesda Lutheran Homes, packing seeds for Hope Seeds, cleaning eyeglasses for volunteer optometric services to humanity, and donating blood were other servant events. The flip-flops were donated by the National Youth Gathering the previous summer. This year, instead of conventional convention banners, we had quilts which were donated afterwards to Lutheran Services of Florida. Thank you, Trinity Summerfield, for our zone's bright yellow quilt. This one had the famous verse of footprints. Happy feet walk with God. This is the prayer room. The cross was from the National Youth Gathering. There were candles, little fountains, soft music, green plants. Prayer requests were read at the closing worship service. Here the President's page, Joel Kubitschek, lights the convention candle. Joel is reading the convention verse, Isaiah 52:7, in his native language, Chinese. Your North Central Florida Zone delegates. Award ribbons were distributed by the YWRs to those who have served in LWML for 30, 40, 50, or 60 years. Corsages were presented by National President Jan Wendorf to those with 50 or 60 years of service. President Lois received a corsage and a necklace from the Board of Directors in appreciation for her service as president. The praise team was from Good Shepherd Lutheran Church in Titusville, Florida, and Dale Clark and Shepherd Song were playing the guitar. Your North Central Florida Zone delegates by our banner. Saturday evening's entertainment was skits from each decade of LWML. The actresses were the board of directors. Each skit had clothing and props according to that decade. Even National LWML President Jan Wendorf was put to work in a skit, toting heavy luggage. The skit from the 2005 National Convention in Tampa has Convention Chairman Marilyn Traynor as the quarterback. Jolynn Riney, Digna's daughter, and Laura O'Connell are two of the food services workers in the skit. Lunch was late and people were waiting, so the food service workers went into a huddle to decide what to do. Stall. We have to stall. In actuality, the convention was late getting out and the Food Services Committee was waiting rather than the convention attendees. Pastor Silk did have the ladies singing as they received their box lunches, but for the skit purposes it was done in reverse. Ladies in purple. Well, here comes Venus, an LWMLer of the future. Pastor is the captain of the spaceship that will take them to the LWML meeting. The cast of characters, and characters they were, the Board of Directors of the Florida Georgia District LWML. Our own Nita Bagnall and Jan Pettis of the Space Coast Zone, two of the 81 registered mission walkers. This sign was pinned on the back of one of the walkers. Actually, she ran 4 miles. Hope and Joel Kubitschek, natives of China, adopted by Pat and John of the Space Coast Zone. Hope was profoundly deaf, but now has 2 cochlear implants and is learning how to speak. Joel will have major surgery to correct his left foot and leg on December 5th. He will spend the rest of his life in a leg brace. Please pray for him and the whole Kubitschek family. Florida Georgia District President Reverend Dr. Gerhard C. Michael Jr., proclaimer at the closing worship, with outgoing LWML District President Lois Ford. Looking at the altar cross from the backside after the worship service, Pastor Silk laid all the prayer requests at the foot of the cross after praying during the service. National President Jan Wendorf presenting outgoing Florida Georgia District President Lois Ford with a plaque for her service. Pitter and patter were the humorous interrupters throughout the convention. Invitation to the National Convention in Portland, Oregon, June 25th through 28th, 2009. The theme is Look to the Hills, God Reigns. Psalm 121 verses 1 and 2. I lift my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. Isaiah 52:7. How beautiful on the mountains are the feet of those who bring good news, who proclaim peace, who bring good tidings, who proclaim salvation, and say to Zion, your God reigns. As a side note, we selected this verse before National decided to use it for the upcoming National Convention. The Convention Goal Statement. Confident that my God reigns as Creator, Redeemer, and Sanctifier, I share His love and peace with others. The Convention Objectives. Convention attendees are given opportunities for and are motivated to worship God, the Maker of all things, trust in the Lord who daily meets their needs, declare God's peace and provision through tangible acts of mercy and grace, share the good news of Jesus in everyday situations. The 2009 Florida Georgia District Retreat will be September 25th through 27th at the Serrata Beach Resort, St. Petersburg Beach, Florida, with the theme Feed My Lambs, Feed My Sheep from John 21 verses 15 through 17. The resort is very lovely and right on the beach. Mark your calendars now and plan to attend. The YWR skit took place in a spa and the gals were receiving pedicures. At the end of the skit, the convention Bible verse, Isaiah 52:7, was on the bottom of their flip-flops. The newly installed officers. All weekend long we heard about feet and saw feet everywhere we looked. Outgoing President Lois Ford placing the President's pin on incoming President Marilyn Traynor. Marilyn's first speech as President of the Florida-Georgia LWML. As a side note, please pray for Marilyn's mother, who was hospitalized that weekend and still is not doing well. Joel is extinguishing the convention candle.